Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. This guy got buffed, and somehow I forgot, so let's have a look at him now. As always, we'll be starting off with the basics in Realm of Legends, before moving into Act 8 to open him up just a little bit more, and seeing which nodes he really shines on. Superior Ironman is a relatively simple champion, and if you simply just hit the opponent and build your special too, you'd probably do alright. But we can get a bit more out of him than that. Your second medium, or when you intercept with a medium attack, will grant you one of your buffs that you don't have, and there are 5 different buffs to gain. Armor up, energy resistance, critical resistance, amplify, and regeneration. Each buff will last less time the further down the line it is triggered. So, for example, armor that we triggered up first, not about 200k crit, by the way. So 42 seconds, that's pretty good. So actually, let's have a look at it in this fight then. So here we trigger the amplify first. That one will last the longest. Now we intercept and do a medium ending combo to get our critical resistance and our regeneration. Doing a light ending combo will give you 2 of the buffs you already had. So mediums to gain new buffs, and lights to gain ones you already have, and they stack up to 8 times each. For example, the regeneration isn't the most potent, but when you stack up 8 of them, it's like having half willpower going all the time. Triggering any one of his new buffs will refresh all buffs you currently have, and that includes the buff off his heavy, which is that one that's just about to phase, though we just managed to refresh it, which is a unique instinct buff, which is excellent as it lets him parry, nice 236k crit there, parry non-contact attacks, a very, very useful piece of utility. Now, here we are up in 8.1.1, and we're taking a few hits from this blade. I will be taking this fight pretty slowly, but, well, let's just say you'll see why. The node here benefits champions that have big special 2s, and Superior Ironman has a very big special 2, so we're going to be pushing that to the limit. And here we're just building up our buffs slowly, but there's not a huge amount of point doing that, as you'll see in just a moment, because, well, we can do this. 600k, not bad at all. Up next, we're in 8.2.1, and we're up against this Warlock, and here we want lots of unique buffs. Another advantage of Superior Ironman is that he's basically immune to Warlock, as Warlock's infection will last less and less time, depending on how many unique buffs you have. And Superior Ironman has plenty. Ignore the massive block damage, that's just part of this path. One thing I forgot to mention is for every single buff, not unique buff, but for every buff Superior Ironman has, he also gains an attack increase, which lets us do that. Again, this is being pushed by the node, but he has some seriously good potential. Still in 8.2.1 up against this Storm. Because I was a bit bad, I did end up getting hit by the last hit of Warlock Special 1, but Superior Ironman comes with very high built-in resistance to bleed, incinerate, and shock effects, so that includes passives. And this can be increased further for every one of his buffs on him. For every unique buff he has, he increases resistance, so it's not very difficult to get over 100%, which is really nice for dealing with lots of different effects. And not to mention he can still do this. 450k crit, not bad at all. So, now we're going to same path, I think, going to take on this Omega Sentinel. This path does come with a lot of block damage, and we are going to be taking quite a lot of it, but let's have a look at that resistance in action. Even if he didn't have resistance, we've got energy resistance built into his buffs, so actually we can get away with a lot of that as well. There we go, so we get auto-blocked, but look, we are taking no damage at all from that Incinerate, and we're just healing from willpower. He does have naturally reduced willpower potency, but with his own innate regen, as long as it comes up early enough, you can actually get away with doing quite a lot. I went through half of Realm of Legends and still came away with a full yellow bar. Just don't get hit. Naturally though, we are still on this path in 8.2.1, so we can still do this. Oh, there we go, another 450k crit. Let's move to another path. Here we are in 8.3.2, and I apologise for any lag that comes up in this fight, which lets the opponent do that, because I'm still playing on my brick. What's interesting at this path is for every unique buff on you, once you steal the weapon off the opponent, you will be refunded a large proportion of the power you use after every special attack. And Superior Ironman has a lot of unique buffs, relatively speaking. You can also see that little sort of starred shield on the far right. Oh, it's moved down to the bottom row now. And it can save us like that because Ironman has built-in auto-block as well. So now we're going to knock it down, bait out the special 2. Come on, Jubilee. There we go, bait the special 2. And now we can do this. Pop. And we get refunded most of that power. So let's do it again. Pop. Another 120k. We get refunded most of that power, so let's do it again. We should probably bait out Jubilee special 2, but where's the fun in that? Oh dear. Well, I'm going to throw my special 1, manipulate the air into attacking me, and I can use the auto-block to my advantage. The damage there wasn't boosted by anything. Once you get that armor break going from the special 2, Superior Ironman just has some really good damage. He can ramp up further than I'm showing in these fights, simply because I can keep getting buffs. I believe at maximum he can gain 43 buffs, which is about as long as this lag spike is feeling. No, that was me, not you, don't worry. But here we're going to be doing the same thing against this Ronin. We've learnt our lesson about baiting out specials, so we're going to do our best not to get clomped by this guy's special 3 as well. Though Superior Ironman can actually tank special 3s quite well. He's still going to take damage, this isn't Ghost or Kitty we're talking about, and I wish his heavy range was a little bit longer. But if you can stack up a bunch of those armors, he will become a serious tank. And given most special 3s, pop, don't do anything against armors, you will actually be able to tank them much better than you could a high critting special 2. So we've learnt our lesson. We're going to bait out his special 2. Here it comes. There we go. And we've got plenty of buffs, so let's trigger some more off the special 2 and pop for a big crit there. If we use the special 1, it applies lots of armor breaks rather than one big one, and also gives us a little power gain buff that we can use if required. So, there we have a quick look at the newly buffed Superior Ironman. I do like him very much. I don't think he's going to rocket to the top of the Cosmic class, though he is still a very, very solid champion. If you pull this guy early, he will do a lot of work for you, and is not particularly complicated to use. He doesn't have a lot of the sort of utility that you'd find on other Cosmics, so a lot of Cosmics have poison immunity and access to true effects and that sort of thing, but I don't think that really deteriorates from him much at all. He has his niches, and as I hope I've shown, he does very well in those niches. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, and consider joining the Discord server, a great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future video topics, and whilst I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. Link to that in the description. Thank you, and I will see you next time.